Well, good day, everybody. So, just a little video really to keep you in the loop with what's going on. I've not done the monthlies this month because I got the virus. I caught the virus, and sadly, I'm still recovering from it. So, I'm not really in a place to do readings yet. So, apologies for that. I'm sure I'll be back to normal very soon. In the meantime, um, I was kind of urged today to look at the planets because the last few days, particularly, um, I've been listening to a few bits and pieces, people kind of doing new moon stuff, and then people talking about lots of stuff going on in Pisces at the moment, and so I thought let's just have a look and see what's going on. There are two very important things that I've not had anybody speak about, which I thought I would. One is Uranus square Saturn, and the other is Venus cusping from Aquarius into Pisces. So this is real-time astrology, okay? So where the planets actually are as opposed to Western astrology. What does it mean? Well, Venus, whenever it changes signs, it gives us a different focus, particularly on our own self-care, self-worth. Sorry, the cat's just... excuse me a moment. Psst. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, so Aquarius, air sign, very much about new thinking. Pisces, kind of beginning and end, deep energy, kind of a lot about how consumerism in a weird way, control, cults and religion, and the need to be part of a kind of bigger collective. There's some of the aspects of Pisces. You've got to remember also, a lot of what we kind of think we know about astrology is based on a very modern viewpoint, based a lot around love and relationships for some reason, because that seems to sell, doesn't it? Certainly, if you look at people on here, there's no shame in it, but it's not for me. Um, um, there's channels that talk about love, or love in their titles and so on. They do seem to have, a lot more, a much bigger viewership. But, no, that's okay. For me, no, it's not something um, it doesn't interest me. When I do a reading, I like to get into the real meat and into the nitty gritty of it, find out what it is that makes a person tick, or why they're not ticking along as they should be. Anyway, so Venus now shifting, it gives us a opportunity to take a bit of a deeper dive into what we or how we operate as part of a group, whether that be your family group, your work group, your friend group, or just your local society, or even culture. It gives us a chance to look again at the way that we kind of perceive the beginnings and ends of things, the way we perceive even religion. And I think, for a lot of people at the moment, how we perceive society and how that's changed for us. We've all become kind of much more solitary. Many of us have not interacted as we normally would for a year or so. Some of you people out there, you'll still go about your business as if there was nothing, which is good, good for you. But just remember, it's not a hoax, folks. It's real. I know it's real. I've had it. I can tell you, it's no fun. So that's one thing to look at. The other thing that's really important is this Uranus square Saturn. So just break it down real simple. Uranus, power, quickness, technology, eccentricity, change, new ways of doing and approaching things. Saturn, old school, rules and regulations, stuck, order, So now is a great time to look at what needs to change, but understand you may not see any actual change until this square is over, and it lasts for a while. It sort of eases off and around kind of April, and comes back again in May, and gradually starts to dissipate. Yeah? But it's around for quite a while. So now's the time to use Saturn in your favour. So replace old rules, habits, rituals with new ones that are going to benefit you in terms of this newfound reality that we're in. Now, we could argue that, in a while, once everybody's got vaccinated, things will go back to normal. But will they? Will they really? Because there are still going to be a lot of people out there that are, super wary of getting too close to people. Already, our kind of shopping habits have changed dramatically because we can get everything we need online. Apart from good shoes, it seems. And everybody knows how to use Zoom now. Whereas once upon a time, just a year ago, Zoom was you said somebody, let's do a Zoom call, and they'd be like, what? Strange, isn't it? The kind of video chatting technology's been around for some time. Remember Skype, folks? And yet still, it wasn't a norm. It certainly wasn't a norm. Now, to Zoom someone is part of the common lexicon. So it's amazing how, things change. So look at your progression in different ways, in new and exciting ways. Uranus, eccentric ways. Uranus is in Aries, right? So it's a great time to try out new things, but understand that, some things, just because you can do them, you shouldn't, all right? Because Uranus in Aries can be kind of crazy. But it's time to just lay those habits down and kind of know that you're investing in those habits, and they may not show dividends for a good few months, which of course brings us back to the old chestnut of patience. So patience is kind of, when someone's impatient, it generally means they don't have a lot of trust, So I'm not going to bother doing that because it'll take too long. Which is the ego's way of saying, actually, it's a way for you to get out, because if you don't start it, you can never fail. But actually, not doing is failure, isn't it? So it's a great time to think about those things. And for me, I've put a few pounds on over the lockdown period because, man likes to eat, right? And I thought, well, you know what, I'll get back on the kind of healthy eating. Not that I don't eat healthily, but perhaps I just eat a bit too much of healthy. But then it's looking at, actually looking at that anew. And how can I integrate that using perhaps new ways of doing things, when for a little while I'm still going to be stuck. Like at the moment, I'm not particularly active because I'm still finding that I'm out of breath a lot. And that's the aftermath of the COVID. That will clear up well, hopefully in a few weeks. Although there's this other phenomenon of long COVID, which is ME, isn't it? Really. So this might finally be a chance for people that have suffered ME for a long time to actually be recognised. That's strange, isn't it? Isn't it funny, when we can't understand something, or we can't give a scientific reason for it, we kind of say, or some of us say, it doesn't exist. Interesting, isn't it? So think about it. If you're watching this and you've got a chronic condition, for want of a better word. Just, let's say like, asthma, for instance, right? We're always kind of led to believe, aren't we? You should make it better somehow, get better from it. Change your lifestyle to improve your symptoms, which of course is a good thing to do. But how can you now really kind of bring those habits in? Well, I mentioned in one of the videos about circular breathing, and a few of you did. Thank you for the comments. A few of you did comment, can you make a video on circular breathing? But circular breathing is really cool. So there are a couple of different definitions of circular breathing. So I'll give you two. There's kind of the mundane and the more esoteric version, if you like, or metaphysical version, if you like. So circular breathing, a lot of people, and just check where you're breathing now. So a lot of people breathe in, hold it, breathe out, hold it, in, out, in, out. Oh, yeah, very tiring, right? Circular breathing in this respect then would be kind of breathing in and breathing out. So it's like a circular in and out. All right. Now that may give you some stress when you initially do it. And the body's kind of wired up to give us very subtle feedback, but because we're not particularly subtle a lot of the time, we miss it. So this is a great way to tell if you're stressed or if you're in fight or flight. So if you find that you're just trying to breathe in and out and in and out, and you find yourself getting a bit tense, then try this method. So breathe in and just count, breathe in normally and just count in your head how long it takes you to breathe in. And then as you breathe out, try breathing out for 1 or 2 counts longer. And again, if you're stressed or if you're in fight or flight, you'll find the urge to gasp. Just stick with it. And after a little while, you physically will feel yourself relax. Okay. So that's one aspect of circular breathing. Now, the circular breathing that I was talking about is sometimes called small orbit breathing. So what you do first of all is just kind of get comfortable following your breath. So imagine that you're breathing from a point about 12 inches in front of your face. Okay, and so you imagine breathing in down to the lungs first of all, and then breathing out, trying to keep it circular, nice and smooth. There's a great description of how the breath should be. It should be like drawing a piece of silk across a rock. Smooth. Yeah? Anyway, once you've got that kind of going on, then you imagine breathing down to a point just below your navel. And then as you breathe out, try and bring the breath up the spine. You probably won't get all the way up. Just relax, come back, start again. So at this point, it's good to just touch the tip of your tongue behind the 2 front teeth on the roof of your mouth, because it completes the circuit. So you're breathing in and it's flowing down to your just below your navel. And then as you breathe out, you'll bring it up the spine, across the top of the head, down. And then you breathe in and breathe out. Okay. Try and get that circle going. So again, breathing in down to below the navel, and as you breathe out, between the legs, up the spine, across the top of the head. That's quite a long route, isn't it? So, again, don't get tense. Just practice it a few times, leave it, come back to it. Remember, keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth. That's important. Okay. So when you can do that, and you can do that comfortably, it could take you a day, it could take you a week, it could take you a year. There's no time. It's entirely up to you. When you can do that comfortably, one of the things it's said to do is balance your yin and yang. So, without going into too much kind of detail, yin and yang need to be balanced. You're male and female, you're doing and you're non-doing. When they're balanced, then your body will be at rest, at peace. something to think about, something to try. And going back to my original proposition of the world is within you, if you're peaceful within, then there is more likely to be peace without. Makes sense, doesn't it? So I'll leave you with this thought. If you're still watching, thank you very much. But I'll leave you with this, a little thought experiment. How would your world look if it was completely at peace? Maybe you've got a noisy neighbour, right? That practices the drums at 2 o'clock every morning. And you're like, and maybe you do, you bang on the wall and you shout and you throw abuse. And they just play louder, don't they? Yeah? How would your world look if you were at peace and there was peace around you? What changes would there be? Because I tell you, the first step to change is to picture it in there. There we go. There's some things to try. Thanks for watching, okay? And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be back with some monthly forecasts. See you later.